July 17th, 2017. And what we're going to look at is Planet X seen through the lens array on 5 cameras at the same time. Now, let's just get right into it, because this is getting very interesting, and I believe this is on the final approach. So let me just show you the 5 cameras at the same time frame, usually starting actually between the hours of about 2100 hours to about 1 in the morning. And we can see in a minute here. So let's watch the progression of this object. This, people want to call this a spider, but I find it very curious that the same object appears on 5 cameras at the same time in multiple countries, hang out for a few hours, and disappear and change color and shape. And it just gets interesting by the moment. So here we have, would this be the spider? And this, I know. If you look at a spider on a camera lens, it would look more distinct than this. So here is the camera. Yeah, there could be spiders out there because this one's mounted on a tree, right? Okay, but just hang in there for a second. Here's a guy mounting it. Not a whole lot could be too far in front of this thing, but let's just watch the progression of this. And my other previous videos, I have shown shadows of these. You can't always get a shadow on the water because it's a shadow. It depends on the direction of the light and where the shadow's being cast. Here we can see this object projecting its image here. So let's just watch the same thing. I'll go back over the time lapse. This was over Lake Chimsey. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This camera, all these cameras are the south and the southwest. See, southwest direction right here. Next, at the same time, over Lake Starnberg. Translate that real quick. This is also facing the southwest. Let's see, we get the direction of the view is the southwest. Okay, so here's Lake Starnberg. Let's watch this. At the same timestamp, we see the similar object in the sky at the same time, which, by the way, is approaching the Virgo constellation. Isn't that interesting? So we see this thing begin to appear and then disappear. The same characteristics that the same object appears and disappears for this same time frame, roughly about 1 o'clock in the morning or about midnight. Again, yet another camera showing the same object. This one here starts at 2100 hours and grows bigger in the sky. Sometimes nearly shadows depending on the direction of the light. And let's watch the progression of this timestamp. It's the same day, Sunday the 16th, over Europe. So here we have it in this camera. Let me enlarge it. Yep, and that's the frame. It disappeared. And we'll go back. If we zoom on it, click on the photos, this top part gets cropped off by this whole logo thing. So it really helped to see to click on this. And again, this has been cropped off, so let me click on this one. Again, this is also another south facing camera at the same time. Let's click on this. And lo and behold, picking up in the infrared spectrum. Hold on to that thought. Infrared. That's why you can't see it. It's infrared. Less light shines directly on it from Nemesis or our sun. We cannot see with the naked eye. That's why the government set an infrared system. So there is 4 cameras there. Camera number 5 at the same time. Let's look at the timestamp here. With this black mass here that appeared in the sky, again in the southwest. There you go. That thing has gotten bigger and bigger. I think it's on its final approach. Let's just watch that black mass just take up the whole sky. Look at this. It appears as though there's another orbiting body next to it. It could be one of the moons. Look at that thing. Now, you're going to be stumped to wonder why I still see stars through it. It's because it's shadow. It's a projection from the lens array. Please go back and watch my video about these high-tech lenses, probably most likely part of Project Bluebeam, capable of creating displays, fake stars, and even, again, yeah, you see light through it, but you can see light through a hologram also, because it is a projection. Light being bent and distorted, and I believe acting more like a one-way mirror, filtering out what they don't want us to see. However, they have a hard time blocking these shadows. Is the absence of light. And here is a time lapse going back in time a little bit to the 27th of June. Let's watch this thing come in. So see, with 2100 hours and watching this object come in, you can almost make out the shadow here. You're not always going to get shadows. There's not a debunk because you can't see a reflection of a shadow. It depends on the source of the light and the direction of the shadow. Be behind the camera most likely, or way over here. Just missed it. Can't always get that perfect angle. So look at that thing just come in. Look at the timestamp on that thing. And here is another planetary shadow. You can see it's a projection like a hologram, therefore you can see through it. This thing has been distorted. And the direction of this thing, let's go back. So I'm going to go back to this as a reference point because these are all south facing cameras all over Europe. Here is the camera. Again, this faces the south. This is in Austria. It goes south. Now let's pull this up on Stellarium and see where we're at. I'm going to verify the fact. See this little arrow here? You can see that there is Europe, this rough area, this neighborhood here. And let's verify the timestamp. And we pull up the time window. I would like to get 2300 hours. Actually, let's get this real accurate here. What was the timestamp? 2230. So let's get where this thing was at the time. Look, lo and behold, facing the south. That puts us, I'd say, right here. And I believe this thing is going to end up where it came, like we see. So let me let me show you something else that some of you may know. So in the Google sky, we have the coordinates of this mysterious blacked out object in the Virgo constellation, which I believe it's going to cross right through here on October 11th. That's where it's going to pass. Literally passing through. And I think it hasn't passed Venus yet, but when it does, I think it's going to react with it. And we're going to get that star spoke things, mysterious light as this bright white light reacts like spokes as it reacts with Venus. Now, I want you to notice these coordinates, and let's zoom in on this image here. This blacked out dragon, this was seen. I want to show you that this is in the infrared spectrum. You cannot see Planet X with naked eye. But let's look at these same coordinates here. Take note, and let's look at sky view, and here is the hidden image. I believe this to be the binary star, possibly Becky Lewis had seen. This object here, I'm curious to see the timing of this event if Virgo was in the sky at the time of Becky Lewis's drawing. And I believe it's coming up on Venus next. According to a lot of experts, it's supposed to pass between Venus and Mars. And I believe it's going to eventually exit through the Virgo constellation right here at some point in time. No one really knows, but I have my suspicions that when Jupiter leaves, it's going to pass Jupiter. Okay, it's just a theory, but I believe this is the direction that it's passing. It's coming through here. It's going to pass through this point, and at that point, everybody's definitely going to see it when it does cross. So there's no hiding it anymore. So let's see if I can go back on the timestamp on some of these videos up, and we can see the progression of this moving spot that couldn't possibly be on the lens because it doesn't change color and suddenly disappear. It's not something on the lens. And it doesn't change size. And it's on 5 cameras at the same time, night after night, getting bigger and bigger. Let's look at this one. I don't know if we showed you this one, but let me go back and do a review. And what many would say, look at that. How do you explain that? Why is this happening at midnight? That's a pretty compelling evidence to me. Let's look at the very close look at that object. Go ahead and call it a spider. I don't care, because it's not. You heard it from my channel first. You've been warned. That, I absolutely, in my heart, believe that that is Planet X. A holographic image of it. And by the way, when this eclipses our sun one day and casts its shadow on our Earth and our moon, that's going to black out the sun and turn the moon into blood red, just like the intro of my video, right out of Joel. Book of Joel in the Old Testament. Remember that? The sun shall be darkened and the moon turned into blood. So this is the object that's going to do that. So please copy, like, and share this video. Have a blessed day.
Hello everybody, Crisis Actor here. You are looking at Kivalina, southeast Alaska, and this is at 10:01 a.m. So I got some interesting things to show you. On the right side of the sun, you're going to see an object. And then there's one frame that they've taken out because it's probably so good. Well, there it is. Here we are in Old Harbor, East Alaska. We've got an object that's going to come into focus here. Right here. You can see it's behind the cloud. No lens flare. There it is. Now, something else I wanted to ask you guys. I have an altimeter on my phone, and I've noticed that the elevation where I am varies from 1,300 feet to almost 1,800 feet. And I wondered if any of you had the same experience with the altimeter app. And I've noticed that when the elevation is higher, it seems to be warmer. So I'm just curious if anybody's noticed that anomaly. Let me know in the comments, please. Thanks. And here we are looking east in Larsen Bay, Alaska. And we're going to see an object appear right here. And lastly, I just wanted to show you where I enhanced the photograph of the planet behind the cloud. And the frame, I think, before that or after that. And then I had this on Friday, and I was reluctant to show it, but now that I've seen a lot of other objects and plasma and things like this, I think that this is actually a very relevant photograph. And this was taken at 7:47 a.m. in Alaska, looking northeast. And here's another. This is 10 minutes later in Alaska, looking northeast. Pretty wild looking. I think I'll probably send this to Jeff P., the plasma expert, and see what he has to say about it. Anyway, thank you for watching, and talk to you next time.